second game of a home and home with the Ole Miss team that has been playing really good basketball. I think Kermit's done a great job of getting there and getting those guys to play at a high level. Obviously with Tyree, who's playing really well, and of course you got a prolific scorer in Davis. Those guys present some pretty good challenges. I thought early in the year when we played them earlier, I thought we were playing pretty good up until the probably 25-minute mark, 26-minute mark, and then I thought we had a slew of turnovers, and that's the thing that keeps coming up, turnovers. And even in our game with Kentucky the other night, I thought we did a good job of taking care of it. So we've kind of identified the things that we're not doing well, the live ball turnovers. And so, but more importantly, we got to put 40 minutes together. The consistency that you got to have to win games in the SEC. You got to not only start, but you got to also finish as well. So, but it's also, obviously, we get a chance to celebrate the 25-year national championship team coming in, and so there's a lot of excitement, and I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. Some of them hadn't seen in a while, and obviously they're part of our family, and so they get a chance to come and be celebrated. And so hopefully a great atmosphere, and we can do our part in going out and putting a 40-minute game together, defensively, offensively. Ole Miss is familiar with us. We're familiar with them, and so it's the second game, and we certainly want to play well at home.
Yeah, Mike, what do you expect from the atmosphere? And assuming it's going to be, I think Scotty said he thinks it'll be electric. How could that help your team? It's going through a rough stretch. How could that help you guys on Saturday, maybe with energy and everything?
Well, I think we've been in those kind of environments, and we got that environment here as well. But it'll be more special. I think it'll be more special when you get guys that obviously are responsible for a lot of the tradition. And I always tell our guys, that people, when they play you guys, they're not playing you guys. They're playing the national championship team, the tradition. And so to have those guys in the house, I'm sure our guys want to go out and play at a high level. But, our fans are important in what we do. And so this time of the year, you need every advantage you can get. So hopefully they're plus, I always say they're plus 8 or 10, maybe they're plus 12.
Just with both Arkansas and Ole Miss kind of having close but no cigars against Tennessee and Kentucky, just how do you see that factoring in this game for both teams?
I think it's going to be two teams that get at it defensively, offensively. As I said, obviously they've got some more established guys when you talk about Tyree and Davis. The Stevens kids playing well for them. They got a good basketball team. The Schuler kid, the Devontae, the Lagarde, they're a scrappy team, and like I said, and they've got they're playing well. They play well all year long. So I expect it to be a game where back and forth, and maybe who has the ball the last will win the game. But again, I think we played each other, so I think we're familiar with one another.
The team's confidence got a boost playing Kentucky, so we almost had them.
Well, I'm not in moral victors, Nate. Me personally, but obviously we played well, didn't play well enough to win the game, and that's how I look at it. We did some positive things, we corrected some things, and to go in that environment to put yourself in position, it tells you what these guys are capable of doing. And we not only did it at Kentucky, but you look at the other places we played. And I think that's just the growing pains, And to me, when you can get over that hump, I think that makes it even more special. So, but, close with cigars don't get it.
Mike, Isaiah, I guess, is on the verge of breaking Scotty's record. How much do you think Scotty has helped Isaiah this season? And just what do you think about this freshman season he's having and being on the verge of breaking Scotty's 3-point record for most in a season?
I think for a young guy that was playing high school ball last year to be thrown into the fire, so to speak, and have that kind of role, and to come out and start off with a bang, and then of course, now you go to the top of the scouting report, people are playing him a little harder, and he's a good basketball player, and I thought he got better. He's gotten better this year, and his progression will you'll see him get even better, get stronger, and but the things that he does well, he can shoot the basketball well. But I'm sure he's put on display that he can do other things than just shoot the basketball. He can defend, and I'm sure Scotty's been very encouraging to him. I think our whole staff has been really good for him, because with young guys, the emotion is up and down, with the kind of season that we've had. But one thing about him, he's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, what have you thought Desi's brought to the lineup, I guess, since the last 2.5 games and the last 2 starts he's made?
I think he's brought a little, I think he's brought some toughness. I think he's brought some, another, I think, defender. I think he can create, not only for himself, but he creates for others. Fixes things on defense, and I think, he shows he can score as well, get to the free throw line. So it's confidence. He's been playing well in practice, and so it's good to see him bring it on the floor. But I think what he brings is the toughness that you got to have, especially in environments that we go into and in the teams that you're playing.
Yeah, Mike, those I used to call them controversial reviews at the end of the Kentucky game. Have you submitted those plays to the SEC office?
Absolutely.
And what response have you gotten?
It's what they didn't call. So from that standpoint, where I was, and putting them in, I think it opened up some of their eyes to some of the things that were taking place in that game that probably were not called. And I think that's, to me, is they're work in progress, we're work in progress. So and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't get them. I think Rick Barnes had the same scenario going on with his team, but there were some calls that obviously there's judgment, but we came on the wrong end on them. I know that.
Did the SEC office say, "Hey, man, we're sorry we screwed that up," or "You got screwed," or anything to that effect?
We had a good visit.
You want to elaborate on that?
We had a good visit. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, and to follow up on Isaiah, he's had a couple of rough shooting games, like probably anybody would, freshman or senior, but he seems like he always bounces back pretty well. What is it about? What have you thought about that aspect of his?
Well, that's what I was talking about, the progression. I mean, he started out with a bang, and then he kind of hit the wall a little bit, and then obviously he's kind of rebounded. I think that says a lot about him. I just tell you, it says you what kind of player he is, what kind of person he is. I think he's worked to be the player he is, and he's putting it on display. I think that's refreshing.
There was another coach that wasn't too happy last night. It looked like Kermit Davis, I think, threw his coat, and got a technical foul. They put a lot into trying to beat Tennessee. What's your experience with teams coming off emotional games like that, where they really had to work hard going into the next game?
Well, they'll be ready to play. I think Kermit's smart enough to know that they'll be ready to play. Obviously, we played them already, and they beat us. And I thought we kind of beat ourselves, really, but they played well then. And in this time of the year here, obviously you want to be playing, and they're playing really good basketball. You want to be playing some of your better basketball, and they are. So I expect the Ole Miss, Arkansas game. That's what I expect to see.
Have you had any conversations with Gabe and Adria about their shot selection and shooting three-pointers?
Have I had any?
Just conversations with them. It seems like they've taken.
I always coach my guys to take good shots. Any reason? I mean, I don't know where that question came from.
Well, it just seems like they've taken some three-pointers at some critical times, and it's led to. It just seems like they.
If that's your opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Chad Moore said the other day Justice Hill's probably going to practice football when the basketball season's over, and I think if the rules are that if he ended up playing football, he'd have to be on football scholarship. What do you see Isaiah? Do you see Justice being a two-sport guy, or what? How do you see that?
I've
situation?
talked to Justice, and right now, Justice is concentrating on basketball right now. That's in my talk with him, and so it may happen later on down the line, but right now, he's just focusing in on basketball right now.
Were you aware of what Chad said, or that he was planning to?
No, I talked
go-
to Justice. I hadn't talked to Chad yet.
Okay.
Justin and I had a visit before he even came up here about, you know, if that's something he wants to do, then obviously he has my blessings to do it. But at the end of the day, you know, he will inform me, you know, what he wants to do. But right now, his focus is on basketball.
The 94 team, you obviously were a big part of that too. What do you think defined that team? Because it had a lot of good players, but Corliss was really the only one that had a lengthy NBA career, and yet they won a national championship. And then does it seem like it's been 25 years ago to you, or kind of how do you feel about the passage
No,
of
it
time?
seemed like didn't happen not too long ago. And, of course, I get a chance to see and visit with Scotty all the time. They were a selfless team. They were very unselfish. You know, before, you know, Corliss and them, they got here, obviously their freshman year went to the Sweet 16. And that year, of course, with Dwight and you had Clint McDaniel, who had already been here. I think Darryl Hawkins was on that Sweet 16 team, I think. But, you know, that team there in itself, we had some older guys. If you think about it, almost all those guys had an extra year of school. You know, Corey and Dwight had sat out a year. Elman was redshirted. Clint McDaniel was redshirted. Obviously, Corliss and Scotty were they were just talented freshmen into coming into their sophomore year. But the thing I remember most of what they took from that losing to North Carolina, I think, in the Sweet 16. And then North Carolina wins the championship game. I thought those guys dedicated themselves. We added the Twin Towers and Darnell Robinson and Lee Wilson to go along with some guys that had some seasoning. And they just started off that summer. They went to work, man. And, I can't say it enough. You know, Corey Beck was the leader of that pack, man, and they followed his lead. But they worked morning, noon, and night to become players. But they were very selfless. And I think one of the defining moments of selflessness is, you know, we're in the national championship game, and Ken Body has an opportunity to start, guard Grant Hill. Clint McDaniel's been starting all year. This guy's like an all-star for us. But can you imagine in the biggest game? And I think that's, to me, that was defined this team. You know, they went to Coach Richardson's beat, but they were very, very unselfish, and we knew who the bell cow was. We knew who the go-to guy was, and that was Corliss. But there were no egos on the team, and they all played for each other. It was a great passing team, great shooting team. And then you had a guy like Corliss, great depth, even with Roger Crawford going down. So I go on and on, you know, about that team. You had so many different parts and weapons. We could play fast. We could slow it down. We can play half court. We could do a lot of different things, and I think that was the beauty of that team. And they played to win. That's when I said they played to win. Thank you, guys. Okay.